What's up, everybody? We're back with Red. Joined by Andy, Tyler, and Ollie. As before, you're like
Howdy.
2 episodes into this
Yo.
by now. You know everybody that's here. Andy, kick us off.
All right, we got Zuko Crossroads. Double rare. When you play him, you may put the top card of your deck into your waiting room. If it is an avatar character, he gets plus 2k, so 3k if you hit the optional mill. That's kind of a weird effect. When you play him, you may pay 1. If you do look at 3 cards from the top of your deck, choose 1 card among them, put it in your clock, rest of waiting room. You do salvage a character. So it is a on-play Ricky. It's kind of like the Alice from Set 1 Alicization.
Card's good. Not restricted by level.
It's live red.
Yeah, I guess it can hit anything, yeah.
It's
Mills
just
4 cards.
yeah, goes through 4 cards. Gets power
Live-
so long.
Live
as
Red
you
is
Mills
a
want.
up
bomb,
for
isn't
4
he?
cards for what it's worth.
Lyron was a clock bomb. This is you're a little bit hard up for like on-demand deck speed. This is pretty good for first deck. I'm down. My Erie's good for setting color. All right.
Next.
All right, Zuko, for honor, if all your characters are World of Avatar, this gets 3k, so it'll be 11k base, as long as you're playing the game. On play heal, and then when you play the standby, if you have the Iro on your stage, this card gets 1 soul, and this ability activates once per turn. When damage by this card is canceled, you may stand it back up. So it's going to swing in for 3, open lane for 4, your opponent cancels, stand it back up, swing again. Whatever soul that he had from his trigger. If you're playing all his soul triggers in standby, maybe that's 3 or 4. He's going to keep that soul and swing again.
Worth noting that the Iro does give it the trigger check ability.
Yeah, so you can dig for a trigger to push for more damage or set up a side. If you've
Which is
already
actually
triggered.
Pretty good too, because it gains the soul itself. You can play the UA to pump a soul, the Momo pumps a soul. You can set up some pretty cool sides with the soul pump and the trigger check.
I'm assuming it's like an 8 standby deck, because the Iro pumps power too. Like, these things get pretty big. I don't know how to rank it though. That's kind of...
The unfortunate part about it
just
is if you
fine.
front, you have to live to restand on the cancel. But
Yeah, because it restands when it cancels. So if your opponent backs up, you're reversed.
did we
Can't
talk about the
swing
real
again.
and true strength of this card?
What, that you go multiple times and can trigger more for Sokka?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the idea. A lot of the standby stuff. There's a card we'll get to in blue. It's a whole can of worms. I'd rather keep it till we get to that slide. But like standby is the main way that you can trigger the Sokka to get extra attacks off.
And this digs for standby because of the Iro.
Yep, digs for standby twice.
And an extra attack, which
Yeah.
also has the trigger check.
Yeah, so you would trigger check 2 times, dig for trigger twice. This card can dig quite a bit to try to get into another standby trigger. Still, I think the downsides of like your opponent could back up over this, stopping it from restanding. It's at least free. It at least gets that soul. You might be able to side, at least checks. That helps with siding. Also does heal. It's also a reasonable body to stand by out on the field beforehand. It can go to the front row and reasonably live or be defended, which is fine. So overall, just fine. Let's go to the real Sokka enabler. It's your card, Tyler.
So this is Azula. When it's played on the stage from hand, you can heal. On attack, it gains 500 times the number of your opponent's characters. And then on reverse, pay 1, sack a character, top deck the character you reversed, and burn 3. Much more straightforward than the Zuko. It's a finisher. Oh, and you need to have the Tylee on field for it. Almost forgot that part.
Isn't this like the fucking Goblin Slayer finisher from Goblin Slayer?
Except
Wasn't it like top deck and burn too?
No, that card was
Burn 2, then top, whatever, same thing.
It was like burn 1.
It was
top deck.
burn 1, then top deck.
I could have swore it was a burn 2.
This one top decks before the burn, which is better. Funnily enough, this card gets smaller as this card gets more reverses in multiples.
Yeah.
Which is really funny. Requires a specific card on board. Notably, you see that this Azula and the Zuko before her combo with the same climax, yet require completely different back rows.
It's flavor. Please understand.
Sure, it's flavor, but it makes them extremely hard to play together. Which is, I guess, also part of the flavor. But, they both heal. This one is actually really good at enabling the Sokka because it sacks. Again, I would like to leave the Sokka discussion for the Sokka slide. We'll just do it all there because it'll be pretty early in the blue review. So
also with flavor, you said she gets smaller. She gets smaller as she eats other characters. That's also kind of flavor.
Yeah.
She goes insane, loses all of her friends, starts losing fights.
It's a little existential. Like reading into it a little too far. Are you an English teacher?
Could be.
No, it's pretty good. But yeah, I think it's fine. It needs reverse, which is a issue, especially in standby deck.
I don't like that innate standby. I always hate seeing standby cards that have on reverse. That's like counterintuitive to your game plan. But the synergy with like the sacrifice and stuff, I do see that.
The Tylee, the Tylee makes it to where your opponent can't play backups in one lane. So.
Oh, does it? That's helpful.
So you get at least one reverse.
But what I'm saying is, it's like if you're playing an 8 standby deck, right? Theory is you should be winning field. Continuously.
Oh, yeah,
so
I
your
get what you
opponent's
mean.
not going to have characters on field because they have to crash into you.
For what it's worth, I don't think the 8 standby deck in this set wants to win board like that. I think it's more of a Quince angle where you just kill everything and then just let your stuff die.
Okay, I mean, I haven't seen all the cards in the set. I try to like keep it pretty have like a fresh mind coming into it. So just I only know what I've seen so far, but maybe there'll be some other cards later on that like make the strategy more appealing to me.
Yeah.
I can definitely see the
Zuko's
potential.
decent for winning board at least, if that's what you're aiming to do. Because he's 11k plus the assist.
Yeah, I mean, there's also a 2/2 that's a little small that enables the Sokka stuff that's out there that people might want to play. So like maybe it's not too much of an issue for Azula to get reverses. But all right, next card. This is Ollie.
There we got the Zuko T server. Put one World of Avatar character from your hand to your waiting room. One of this plays from stage to hand. You can pay cost if you draw a card, and then when damage dealt by this card is canceled, you can put this in the stock.
Carmen, have you considered playing this card in the decks? It's like it seems like the whole package. It filters for you and gives you extra stock. And if you said you're so hard up for filter, then boom, here you go.
Filtering the top card of your deck that means nothing. And I don't think there's a particularly big stock problem. I think it's mostly a filter problem. Also, the fact that it only ditches character, do not like.
I mean, each character draw a card is just like the standard for that profile.
Yeah.
I guess, just speaking abstractly, like you'd rather it be able to ditch anything.
I'd rather it be the
I
on
think
play if you
the
have
character draw card on its own is not worth playing unless the other effect on it is also worth playing. And the other effect on this is not relevant enough to be worth playing.
I guess I can see that. I'm a big fan of that second effect, but like you said, if you don't really have stock issues in the set, then it's pretty much that's a worthless effect then.
Like the majority of the time, you're not getting the extra stock, so you're just playing it for the filter effect, and then it also does something else because it has to, because 2023 Weiss. but that other thing is not great. So
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, imagine only having one effect on a card in 2023.
And we should go back to the good old days where people, played 1/1 vanilla 7Ks because they won board. Those were the days. All right, next card.
Yeah.
We got Zuko and Iro Forgiveness. So when you play him from your hand, you can pay 1, ditch 1 to salvage a character from your waiting room and give 1,000 power. And when his damage is canceled, you can return him to your hand. Again, I kind of like this because it's like sometimes you get like an actual like extra plus with it. And usually you play a drop salvage down, and you don't really care about the power of it. So the fact that you just have like the cancel damage popping back to your hand for free, this seems like much better than a typical drop salvage to me. But at the end of the day, you're only playing this if you want the drop salvage.
When you cancel bounce back to hand is like an inherently really broken effect.
Yeah, that's why Yukino's so broken.
If you want to drop salvage, it's there.
Yeah, if you want to drop
it has
salvage,
extra text.
you could do so much worse. Like this is a really good drop salvage because it has this line of text on it. Like
I guess if you're hard up for red, you could play it. But if you're just wanting a pay 1, ditch 1 to grab a thing, I think you just play the TD Aang.
Well, my point is like this line of text is inherently broken. When damage dealt by this card is canceled, pop this back. Or no, wait, I misread this.
It's whenever the damage.
Never mind.
It's not the Yukina.
It's not broken. Never mind. Yeah. It's the other line. The other line is broken because you fog a lane, you cancel anyway. Like you're fogging one soul, you cancel anyway, and then you're I also plus. Very cool. And Bushiroad continues to print it. But this is not the good one. It's just the okay one.
You mean when if it's not canceled, it's better?
No. It's when damage you receive is canceled, like the Yukino Riki from Roselia X Pop and Party.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I still like it. It's just a drop salvage, but it has an additional plussing effect.
It's totally fine. Yeah. All right. Next.
You want to drop, like I said, if you want to drop salvage, it's there.
Yeah.
All right, Tyler, this is yours.
Iro T server. Whenever it's placed from hand to stage, choose one of your characters, and it gains 1,000 power in the T trait. Return it to your hand whenever climax is placed to your climax zone. Pop it back to your hand. Give something a soul. More soul pump for Zuko.
Now, have you messed around with the standby deck, Tyler?
Only in theory.
Do you think the pop back give a soul effect? Because I mean, a lot of standby decks will play that sort of like profile for like you play the climax that pops.
I like it
back,
specifically for
Zuko
spot. Because it enables side attacks where you can't win on offense, which I don't think is often, but it does exist.
The restander, you mean, right?
Yeah. The thing is, Momo also gives soul, and Momos are climax swap. And I think I would rather have a climax swap that also pumps soul than a power pump that pumps soul.
Yeah, they kind of do feel like the same deck slot.
Again, if you want red more than yellow.
Or if you really value like having the full field. If there's a reason you need a full field condition, but then you still want to like pop it back and open up a spot for standby, it seems all right.
It's fine. It's like a double
playable.
Pump. Like it
has no. Okay, here's an important bit. Here's an important bit that I forgot. It has Iroh's face on it.
It does have Iroh's face on it. I wish the other pop back gave power, like offensive power, to make sure you won on turn. But it's fine. I don't really care about the soul.
It sounds like I'm joking, but there is a card that cares that you have an Iro on field.
Oh, okay, so name Iro character means something.
Yeah.
What could it mean?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
All right, next.
Got this 1/0 Azula. Level 1. If you have 2 or more other characters, this gets 2k power, so it's always 6k. On attack, if the door is in your climax area and you have 2 of your 2 or more other characters. Reveal top 3 cards of your deck. Your opponent chooses one event or character from among them, adds it to your hand. You choose up to one of the revealed cards except the card you put in your hand. Put it on top of your deck and put the rest of your waiting room.
Oh, this is the Weiss combo from Ruby.
Yeah, it's Weiss/Taya.
And you know what? I'm understanding the flavor of why they had that 2/1 Aang from way back in Yellow, where he only works with like choice, standby, pants, and like something else trigger.
Yeah, I was about to say the thing that would make this card so much better is if it was on the standby.
It makes sense that Aang wouldn't work with her though, because they're enemies.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool flavor actually.
Or if like the 2/1
When
the door trigger.
I guess if you're playing a 8 standby, it's fine. So if this was like your standby you were playing, would it be worse that it's on standby because it's less standby triggers in your deck?
Oh yeah, this card has some interesting implications with the Sokka that you can stack a standby with this, and then standby over the Sokka, get another Azula out of your deck. The climax is already in play. Continue comboing for an additional plus. That's a lot that has to go right. It's a lot that you're milling your deck. Even if you shuffle Sokka's back, it's like a lot to fall into place that early, especially on first deck, where you're like, I'm going to shuffle back combos, I'm going to shuffle back Sokkas, I'm not going to mill a Sokka or a combo in my top 3, but I am going to hit a standby. I'm going to put the standby on my deck, standby out a Sokka, standby over the Sokka, pull an Azula out of my deck, combo again, hit another
There's a lot
standby.
of words for a card we said we'd get to later.
There's so many things.
I don't know.
But I don't know. I fucking hate Taya combo. I think Taya combo's garbage. I think the entire play pattern of stacking a standby on top of your deck with Taya is absolute garbage. I think all it does is decompress you. I don't think you actually gain anything over playing 8 standby by doing that kind of play. It's just like the illusion of gaining something because you get the soul immediately on that turn and it doesn't think about what happens later on in the game that you generate soul by winning field. I don't like it at all. I hate Taya combo. And in fact, I'm gonna give this a fucking D. I hate this shit. I hate Taya.
Ooh, that's
Climax art
harsh.
for this. Does the art on the climax make anyone else mildly uncomfortable?
Slightly, yes.
All right, just making sure I'm not all
Why
alone.
so? Is it like a reference to the show?
No, it's just like the
everybody's
the card
looking
is
at you.
staring at you.
Yeah, the card is staring at you. There's every eye on the card is looking right at you.
Yeah, as if to say, I can't believe you would play this combo. What are you doing?
But yeah, I fucking hate Taya combo.
Yeah.
I think Taya combo is completely fucking unplayable. No matter how cheeky you get with it, it's always bad and it always leads to bad play patterns. You can do so much better.
Taya felt pretty.
You play it because you want a
Yasuo in
door.
that set.
Yeah, you play it for the door because this is the only door in the set.
I think that's a bit much. Maybe I'm just too Dean pilled, but I don't know. In Ruby, it seemed pretty good. Like the Weiss combo in Ruby.
No,
the standby seemed alright.
That entire play pattern is absolute dog shit. It requires you to sack so fucking hard. I've told Dean that multiple times. I think that dust deck and that entire play pattern is just complete dog.
You play this with a door choice deck because you need some amount of red, and red is kind of hard to fit in the 4-color deck.
Yeah, and you don't care about your combo, really. It just adds cards.
Yeah, you just play the colors you need and let everything else fit in.
Well, all right. Moving on, I guess. This one's me.
Yep.
Got Moody Mai. 1-0 during your turn if you have another character, 3,000 power, so we're at 7k to swing with. And when this is put in your waiting room from the stage, you can pay to salvage. Swings for 7k and can salvage on death. That seems kind of overstated. I don't know if that makes me want to sleeve it up and play it, but seems all right to run over something and reactively get a plus if you want to pay out a climax you triggered.
Pay 2 salvage on death can be fine. reactively pays out like triggers and stuff. I think it's okay.
It's not the worst. Pronounced May, by the way.
May.
I don't know why, but it is.
Oh, really? Oh.
I genuinely don't know why it's pronounced May, but it is.
Maybe I'm more with Tyler on this one, where it's like, seems all right, but like, I feel like it would be really hard for me to ever find a slot for this, even if it's like a decent card.
It's a card that exists and is not bad. It's just there are better cards.
Mm-hmm.
She's moody.
All right, Zuko on the run. When your climax is placed in your climax area, this gets 2k and twin drive. And then when this card attacks, if you have another character, this gets 1500 power. So that's 55 plus 2k to 7.5. Climax down, maybe 8.5. With twin drive. Twin drive, interesting implications with the Sokka that we mentioned earlier. More ways to trigger into standby. This card in general is a costless way to maybe trigger more standby, which is nice.
It's bigger than the May. Pays out your stock.
It is
swings
bigger
for
than the
70.
May.
He swings for 75 with a standby, 85
Yeah.
with a
With a global soul.
plus power trigger.
Yeah, this card's like actually pretty good. I don't know like what
I think
deck
it's
it goes
pretty
in,
good.
but like it's pretty good.
Even just like ignoring the Sokka stuff, I think you'd still just play this or the similar 1/1 in the 8 standby deck, if not both. Just more chances to hit a standby.
And pay out standbys if you hit them, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
And it's big. It attacks pretty big.
All right, Tyler.
Tylee, this is the assist that the Azula checks for. It's a 500 level assist, and then resonate, reveal the level 3 Azula in your hand, and rest it. Choose one of your opponent's characters, and it gets the ability. During this card's battle, you cannot play event cards or backups from your hand.
Oh, it's like Saya.
Yeah, it's Bride
pretty
for a
good.
day.
It is both fortunate and unfortunate that this targets the opponent, because you can resonate with it and then play the card. But if anything's ever hexproof, you just can't target it.
Yeah, bad against new slime. But
Which is it's bad against slime, AOT, Bank Dream's hexproof, right? I forget
I
actually.
think so.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Which one?
Bank Dream is the Chew 2
The-
hexproof? I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
it's
choo-choo combo.
hexproof. It's hexproof.
I don't know. I
That's what
like
I
what you
thought,
said though,
too.
Tyler. I like the fact that you can resonate before you play the card. That's like pretty handy.
Yeah, you play it because it's the condition for the Azula. If Azula did not
Ollie.
have a name condition on her climax combo, you would probably still play the Iro, because Iro is just a straight global 15
Yeah.
and a brainstorm.
I mean, yeah, you only play this
Also,
for the Azula deck.
why is this the base rare art? And then
This is a kids show, by the way.
Hey, Tyler, you didn't tell me there was a beach episode. When was the
yo,
beach episode?
it's a really good beach episode too.
Yeah,
You
they
wanna hear
played
a
Beach
funny-
Volleyball. I've seen the clips of this episode.
Avatar is literally like, it's an anime. It counts.
Yeah, it's very anime. Do you
It-
want to hear a funny story about this beach episode though?
All right, hit me.
Sure.
So legend has it that whenever they pitched this episode to Nickelodeon, they had all of the characters in much more skimpy bikinis. That way, whenever it inevitably got rejected, they could put real actual clothes that somebody would wear, like this, and it would actually get aired on Nickelodeon.
That's clever of them.
That's
They,
really
like,
Galaxy
next leveled
Brain.
them. Yeah.
Yeah, Galaxy Brain.
So this is how we have this Tylee airing on a Nick show.
All right, next card. Ollie, go ahead.
Okay, got this 3/2 Iro spitting hot fire. All your other Zuko and Aang, the dancing dragons, and Zuko for honor get the following ability. When this card attacks two cards on the top of your deck, choose one from among them, put it on top of your deck, put the rest in your waiting room. It's choose your trigger. It's a global 1500, and it's a rest 2, check 3 brainstorm.
The global 15 for the standby deck. It's the name condition for the Zuko. I like that it has the brainstorm effect. A
We
lot.
didn't get to Zuko and Aang yet.
It's also like really big still too.
Yeah, Zuko and Aang's the next card. Is 8/5 really big?
For a back row card, I think so.
I guess. Yeah, the check 3 add 1 brainstorm is pretty good because sometimes what you have to do with standby decks is you have to get rid of your brainstorm. This is a brainstorm, so
Yeah, that is very handy. Helps you like draw into your climaxes too.
it's less pressure on what your back row slots look like. And then it digs for the Iro event, which is very good.
You know, this whole red section really just seems like a build your own deck. You can kind of just mix and match like Azula and Iro and
The
Zuko
Fire
and
Nation.
everyone like as much as you want. You know what I mean? You can kind of like build your own red deck. 'Cause
Yeah.
everything kind of works together, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can attack them with the Fire Nation.
Yeah, good point of flavor. Red works very well with itself, not quite so well with other stuff.
Everything was okay until the Fire Nation attacked.
How do I feel about this? It's probably just okay. Like it does give you, it does open up the potential for you to play both, which I like. It is possible. It's possible for you to play both.
Both the dragons and the Zuko combo, you mean?
Yeah, you can play the Tylee and this in the back row.
Oh,
Like,
you
you
meant
could.
the Azula and Zuko.
Yeah, and like you can, you get the double level down.
I mean, Iro rests too, so you don't really want to be resting the Tylee because Tylee wants to rest herself.
You do that? Yeah. Oh, she did rest herself. It's okay. You can rest the Zuko. You're gonna stand by over it anyway, or the Sokka.
Fair.
Yeah. I guess it's just to be. All
In the
right.
decks that want to win board, 1500 is a decent number, so.
All right. Who's this?
We're back to me for this one.
All right.
Got Zuko and Aang, the Dancing Dragon. During your climax phase, when this is standbyed out by Colors of Fire, you can pay 1, ditch 1, sack the climax to stand this card. To stand this card, choose up to 1 Zuko and Aang Dancing Dragon in your waiting room, put it in any position of your stage. So
Yeah, so you pay the cost and then grab another
it
copy
stands
yourself.
himself and it summons another one.
Yes.
Yes. It's like the
That's
Angel Beats combo.
interesting. That's very interesting. At the beginning of your attack phase, if this is in your center stage, you can choose one of your opponent's level 1 or higher characters. If you do, your opponent chooses 1 level X or lower character in their waiting room and exchanges them. X is equal to the level of the character you choose. So it levels down your opponent when? At the beginning of your attack step.
Yeah.
So you can.
It's
First
double
effects
level down.
during climax steps. So if you stand by
Yeah,
another one to
the
the
joke
front
here
row,
is you stand by, get this, grab another, level down 2 things, or level down something twice.
Huh.
I think this is a really cool payoff for standby.
How often would you actually do that? Effective, like stand buying, like how often would you want to put a second copy of himself in the front row instead of just like the back row?
Why not? It's a 2-soul beater.
But he's not
It's a
standing.
2-soul beater that you can assume is going to win board because you're going to level down something, and the thing it levels down into is probably smaller than this.
And even if it dies, if you ever draw the standby again, it's another 2 copies of this.
Maybe I'm just getting weirded out. Like the whole appeal of these like stand themselves combos to me is that you actually get to attack and you don't have to like sacrifice that lane. But if you put a second one of them out, then you're sacrificing that attack. But I mean, I guess you
No, it
don't
comes
always
in
have to
standing.
do that.
No,
It's-
it comes
you're
in
not-
standing. It comes in standing.
It's
Andy.
not rested. It's another attacker.
Yeah, you
Oh,
get
wait,
both
shit,
of
it
them.
is.
Yeah, you get both of
Oh,
them.
okay, okay.
You get both of
Okay,
them,
I
and
like
then
this.
on attack,
Yeah,
you get to level
it's a
something
board breaker
down.
card.
It is a board break card. Level down. I don't like level down as a board break is always sus because your opponent gets some agency there to put out good effects that they can flex for the next turn. Because your opponent gets to choose. And also literally does not work if your opponent does not have a grave with a valid target.
Yeah.
The entire effect whiffs. So I don't really like level down in general. I think if your opponent is playing a modern set and is playing intelligently and is invested in board, they will do literally everything they can to make sure you never get any value off this effect, because I don't think it's that hard in modern sets to do that. But like as it reads on paper, pretty good that it like rips out 2 cards, goes even, like puts 2 big bodies on board for just pay 1, ditch 1, sack the climax. Sack the climax is always nice too. It lets you like do funny plays where like you can like go down to less cards and stuff, which is nice.
Here's another thing I don't like about this card though. You either play 0 or 4 of this card. I don't think there's a way to play less than 4 of this and it still work, which means it's pretty slot intensive for the 8 standby deck.
Yeah, it's your finisher, dude.
No, because this and the Zuko Azula splits, those are the only standbys in the set. And Zuko and Azula, whichever one you pick, also needs you to have either Iro or Ty Lee as slots, and then all the other generic standby stuff. So you need to also have all of this. You need to have all of the slots for that package, and then 4 copies of this. You can't just tech in 1 or 2 of these. You need 4, otherwise it's just straight up not going to work.
I mean,
So
unless you got like super greedy with it.
Yeah, I think you have to be super greedy if you want to play this, and the list that I've been thinking of just probably don't play this because you have to be so
Yeah.
greedy with it.
It's-
As much as I really like this card.
I hope somebody can build something with this that's cool, because I do think it's cool. I think it's really neat.
I think
But-
you can pretty easily put it into an 8 standby deck. I think the sacrifices you make just make the deck markedly worse.
All right, we good to go? Move on.
Yeah, next.
All right. Ty Lee, Betrayal. When this card becomes reversed, if your battle opponent is 0 or lower, you can reverse that character. 500 power reverse bomb. When this card is put into the waiting room from your stage, so when it dies, you may discard a character. If you do, search your deck for up to 1 Azula, Virgin of Insanity, or May Betrayal, which is this brainstorm here. Reveal it to your opponent, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. So it is an on-death deck bond. Ditch a character to Azula, who, has a resonate with this brainstorm. It's also here. If you're playing this whole package, it seems like a decent one of, right? Or this Azula deck in general.
I mean, yeah, you typically want to play like 3 brainstorm. This just means you play 2 brainstorm in this. That's what I think this is.
Yeah, I can see that. Because this can also just get your finisher, so I like that. I
It's a
don't think
little
the
unfortunate that
entire
it's a
package
death
is.
bond, but
Hmm?
it's a little unfortunate that it's a death bond and not an on-play bond.
Oh,
but
it is, yeah.
I think that's
It-
fine. I think because Azula...
I do think it's fine, especially since it's a bomb. Since
Well,
it's a
no,
bomb.
specifically because Azula wants reverse. I think it's okay to chump with this the turn before.
That's true.
To try to get into your finisher. I like that play pattern, actually.
Until you're against Quince, and Quince has
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
You can't reverse, but like,
Yeah, no.
Let's think on the positives here.
You know, well, they'll eventually put Nino 3-2-2, right? Right?
Right.
This is the
It's like the Anakin meme.
yeah, it's the Anakin meme. All right, next card. Tyler, go ahead.
Lord Ozai. All of your characters get the following ability. This card cannot side attack. On play, put the top card of your deck in your waiting room. If it's a level 0 lower, put a cost 0 or lower character in your opponent's center stage into their waiting room.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen, Lord Ozai. They did you so dirty.
It
Barf.
gets an F for funny.
Yeah.
F for fucking
This is the
terrible.
big bad guy, right?
Yeah, this is the big bad.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah,
Not
you wouldn't
important
be able to
enough.
tell from just this card.
Yeah. All right, Ollie, go ahead. Next card.
We got this Iro 1/1. Can't be reversed by cost zeros. And when your other World of Avatar attacks, it gets 1k power, so it can swing at 6k.
Nino, this is not.
It's definitely not Nino.
What's making this that much worse than Nino? Is it just because Nino's like
Nino's
6 bigger?
always
Nino's
6'5".
always 65.
This isn't even better than the fucking Remy.
Yeah,
Is this worse than Remy?
The issue with this compared to Nino is that Nino being 6'5" means things have to try to scale it to just go even, whereas there are a bunch of level 0s that people can put in front of this and just ignore it.
Okay, I see. Because like I don't know, when I sit across from a card from like that, I'm thinking like, okay, they probably the fact that it can't get reversed by 1/0s is probably the bigger reason you play it, but it is kind of a pain in the ass to scale the Ninos because they sit big. Like having to like actually like I don't care if I reverse you, but at least like I'm not opening up the lane.
There's nothing more frustrating than being 7 Deadly Sins, having the 1/0 Meliodas on board, and just staring at these 1/1 Neos like, damn, I have to tie and lose.
Yeah, so like you still play this in the 8 standby deck if we're in a meta where everybody's playing 1/0s that get absolutely huge, because it's still a plus for you because they were going to scale you anyway. But it's with like Alice running around, then you probably don't play this. However, if Alice gets banned before BCS and then Overlord becomes the top deck, I think you play this.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Assuming you play a standby.
Because this stops the Shao tier combo, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes. She needs.
Is that fever condition?
Yeah, it's pseudo fever.
Which
So
is
meta
basically
dependent.
just fever at this point.
Results may vary.
Yeah. Good old Iro.
All right.
Iro,
yeah. Next turn.
This is me,
Yeah,
Zuko
it's
near the
back to Andy.
campfire. He's a 1/1. If you have another Avatar character, he gets plus 1500 constantly, so he's like really a 6k. He has Twin Drive when you attack and Hand on Core. And when his trigger check reveals a soul icon, he gets 1,000 power cross. So
Wow,
is
it's
this
the
like your
Ouija
standby?
card.
Is this your standby target?
Yeah, I feel like you either pick this or the 1/0 Zuko that does basically the same thing, and you just put one of those into the standby deck, just so you can trigger more standbys.
It's like you're playing Nijigasaki.
He's like all in one package though. So like on his own, he's 6k. You trigger something, and he has Hand on Core. You trigger, he goes 7 cross.
Yeah. Not even
I don't know.
7.
I'm really not like the 8 standby guy. So I'll
You
just
play it
trust your
because of the
guys'
Twin
rating.
Drive.
Yep. It's just for Twin Drive.
So like sometimes it's an 8k, but like
It's exactly the
Not
eye.
really.
It's exactly the eye, right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the same text. I mean,
And
it's
I was
fine.
never particularly impressed by that card in Nijigasaki.
It's important that they can start doing it at 1 because their level 2 also does that strategy. In this deck, it doesn't. Like after
Yeah.
playing into a lot of new 8 standby data live that has like the same back row, the same thing like that. That deck suffers incredibly by the fact that their 1/1 doesn't do the same thing their 2/2 does. You got to have both. Because this deck doesn't have both, one part without the other is irrelevant. This like Twin Drive does have some implications in Atlas specifically, but I don't think this is the card that will do it.
I still think just like hitting more standbys in general, even apropos of Sokka, is
I think
is
the
fine.
the 1/0 is just better because you could play it from hand.
Yeah, I think there's two trains of thought. You either play the 1/0 because it's costless, and if you draw it, you can play it from hand for free, and you get your Twin Drive to trigger more standbys, or you play this because you can randomly high roll, and it's an 8K.
Unironically, I think you just split them.
Good. But like a 3-2 split, something like that.
It's like, yeah, something like that. Because like if he flows into your hand, you can play him, and then you still have a few that are, if they're in your waiting room, you have like a better, you can like upgrade compared to the 1/0.
Yeah. In my mind, at least, they're basically the same card. They just say, I want to trigger more standbys for X reason.
All right. Next.
This one's mine?
You, Carmen.
Yeah, it's mine.
Oh, it's
Zuko,
mine.
redirecting lightning. It is a mill counter from the bottom of your opponent's deck. You mill X, where your opponent mills X, where X is the number of characters that you have.
Oh, he's a lightning bender now.
Mill counters are always memes.
I love them.
You would rather play literally any other counter with any other effect. Memory kick,
3K memory
anti-change.
kick counter. So,
Oh, is there? Oh, yeah. This card's literally worthless then.
is there a reason that they changed it to bottom deck instead of top deck?
To make it feel less bad for people who don't understand math.
If you have a way to like stack the top cards of your deck and set your triggers, that doesn't fuck it over.
I think it's literally, it doesn't feel as bad for the recipient. People see climaxes come off the top of their deck and they feel like, oh my god, it's so insane. It's functionally completely irrelevant. Just like the effect, unless your opponent is at less than X cards in their deck. It's just the only time the effect means anything. Next card. Tyler.
Iro Buffed. If you have 2 or more World of Avatar characters, it gets 3,000 power, and when your character's trigger check reveals a card with a soul trigger in its icon, choose one character, and that character gets 1,500 power until the end of turn. During your turn, all of your World of Avatar characters get 1,500 power. This makes your cards really large. This makes your cards very large.
If you're playing standby with the intent for Azula to get reverses,
This is why I said
probably have to play this, right?
Yeah, so this and the next card are why I say I think that the 8 standby deck in this plays more like Quince than, say, Mushoku, where it just wants to kill your opponent's board and then be done with it. Because you just have so many things that get so big.
A really interesting profile too. Like the only time I've seen these, like when you trigger a soul, give power, it's usually on like some 1/0 that sits in the back row. The buff Iro is himself a standby target with his 2 souls and big body.
He's buff.
It's an interesting card. I kind of like it. I completely forgot that there was a episode in the show where he was in jail and he did get super buff.
Yeah,
Is
he
that the lore?
he told Serena Williams, "Don't come to school tomorrow."
Damn.
What?
What the hell are you talking about? What?
No,
I don't know
okay,
how I
so-
should feel about that one.
So while he's in jail, there's a bunch of guards that talk to him, and everybody's treating him like trash. But there's one guard who treats him kindly, and she's voiced by Serena Williams for some reason.
Tennis player?
Yeah,
No fucking way, really?
yeah.
You know, I thought this was some
And
sort
yeah,
of
fact check you
terrible.
on this.
I
What?
thought this was some sort of terrible off-color joke, and then Tyler hits me with this insane lore.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what the
No,
actual
and
fuck?
like in the episode where he breaks out of jail, he was like, "You've been very kind. You should not be here tomorrow."
Oh my god!
Serena Williams is a voice actor?
Yeah,
Iro
apparently.
involved in a school shooting. Jesus Christ.
Maybe that's why I didn't remember, because she wasn't like screaming. You know, that's all she does. She hits the ball and she screams.
As tennis players do.
Yeah.
All right.
What about
Ne-
her sister? Is Venus in the show too?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Probably not. Alright, we got this Azula 2/2. Follow your characters are World of Avatar, so if you're playing the game, this gets 500 power and hand encore. When this card attacks, you can discard a character. Oh no, put one character from stage into waiting room. If you do, reveal a top card of your deck. If it's a level 1 or higher, put it into your hand.
This is
Wow.
Standby's plussing engine.
Yep.
You crash something and then sack it and then plus.
Preferably Sokka, but
Well, this
anything
is the
really
way you
works.
open up your field too. Like if you're winning field the whole time, you can't have a reverse for your combo. But this is a way that you can sacrifice a card, open up a lane, force something to like live on your opponent's field.
I don't like that it's kind of small, but it serves its function. So
It's a 2/2/02 with hand encore. This card technically goes infinite if you hit.
Oh no, infinity.
I do,
Wait,
I
yeah,
do
this
love my
is only
infinite
it's
encore.
500 power period, not for each other.
Yeah,
Yep. It's just
Uh,
85.
it's just 8/5 encore.
That actually really hurts it, I think. Can you like actually play this as your standby target then?
Especially with Sokka, yes. But just like generically, probably. I think you lean heavier into Iro if Sokka's fixed.
But I mean, just as like a two. Oh, you mean buff Iro?
Yeah.
Even he doesn't like hold board himself. But I guess like you were saying, you're thinking you lean more into like a
Yeah.
offensively
At the
slanted.
same time, this still does sometimes go infinite. And there's a lot of payoffs for having soul triggers in your standby deck. So the thing, unfortunately, Avatar is a fair deck, and there's no like random 1/0s with soul triggers. So all of your soul triggers means you're playing level 2s and higher. So this is more likely to hit.
What do you mean when you say go infinite?
So
You add a
you attack,
card
attack it.
and then
yeah,
you
go-
ditch a card to
You
save
sack
it.
a card,
Andy.
get a plus with
Yeah.
the second effect, and then that pays for the encore.
You sack a character that already died, draw a card, and then use that card you drew to encore this Azula.
Yeah, and then you just do it again next turn.
Okay, I see.
Unless you whiff the top check.
Yeah, but just don't do that.
Yeah, you're right. My mistake.
All right, cool. I think next card we're back to me, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Aang, Firebending, Misfire. When you play him, all of your opponent's characters in the center stage get minus 500. And then act ability, pay one, or no, I'm sorry. Act ability, discard a card, sacrifice this, get a character back from your waiting room to your hand. I hate that effect. I hate it even more that it's on this 500 that minus is 500 their field. This seems like a pretty shit card to me.
All right, I think I can change your mind.
I don't think you can, but you can try.
You can salvage itself back and then nuke your opponent's field.
So you can
Ooh.
get I get okay. You could like minus 1,000 power then.
Is
That's kind of
the
cheeky.
that's the discard your hand thing you're talking about, huh?
Yeah. You
I
just
like it.
discard. You just discard your entire hand and you blow up a field of level 1s.
Dang, a 1-card Wing Slayer. I still hate it. But that is a cool implication. If you did choose to run this card, that is like a cheeky little play you could do.
Please don't ever do that.
Nope. It's done.
I do like the ditch sack salvage effect though, because sometimes you have issues sculpting, and this is just a costless way of sculpting.
I get that. Like I'm like the odd one out for not liking that effect. Carmen and everyone else loves that effect. It's just like
What,
My
sack
prime-
salvage or?
Yeah, like the berry bomb.
Oh, the Ram Bomb is like one of the most cracked effects they've ever printed.
Like I'm notorious for hating that. It's just like I come from Magic the Gathering, and it's just like, oh, I read this card as like I have to sacrifice a card on my field and discard to get something. So I'm like 1 for 2.
Well, Andy, hear
myself.
me out. Weiss Schwarz is a garbage game where you or your
I know
opponent
it's not the same as
at
other
any
shit,
time,
blah, blah, blah.
you or your opponent at any time can just randomly pay 1, rest a card on your board, mill 4 cards that happen to be sideways, and go +4. Like, the
Andy,
hand is the easiest resource to replenish.
Andy, what do you mean? In Magic the Gathering, this card would have been like a +3 probably because you would have had some stupid sack synergy.
Yeah, maybe. Just in a vacuum, it just like it irks me. I don't think I'm ever gonna like him.
Poor Aang.
All right, next.
He misfired.
All right, we're back around to me.
Yeah.
Iro leaves from the vine. Assist. All of your characters in front of this get 500 power. Then you can act. Pay 1, sack this. Check 4. Add a character. One of the only on-demand ways in this deck, this set actually, to get deck speed. So something to keep in mind. Overall, unremarkable profile, but in this set specifically, it's going to be a card you're going to be looking at a little bit more often than you'd probably like.
Yeah, I don't like that I've thought about putting this card into decks.
Me either, Tyler.
What is the Vine?
What do you mean?
It says Iro leaves from the Vine. What,
Oh,
what
Leaves
does
from
that
the
mean?
Vine is the name of the song he's singing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was thinking like leaves, like he's.
This is like when
Dang
his
it.
son died or something.
Yeah, he's mourning the loss of his son. And he's just like he's singing a song at a shrine that he put up to honor him.
Isn't wait,
Kid's
isn't
show, by the way.
Ozai's son? Or no.
No, Ozai's his brother.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say he looks so much older.
Yeah, he's the older brother because in the Fire Nation, the second son is the one that inherits the throne.
Okay. That's interesting. I've only seen mostly like the first few seasons of Avatar, not so much like the later end.
The
That's pretty
later end is
interesting.
the actually good stuff. The early stuff is Nickelodeon mostly.
All right. Next. Tyler, go ahead.
So we've got May Betrayal. Resonate with the 3/2 Azula. Give 2 of your characters 500 at what the climax phase, and then it's a search brainstorm. Cool. It's a brainstorm.
Yep. The other effect doesn't do anything.
This is
Most of the
also
time.
almost the Guilty Ground brainstorm.
Nah, it's a rest self brainstorm. It's fine.
Y'all are giving it a C. I'm still giving it a B because it's a brainstorm. Like brainstorms are
That's
still
true.
cracked.
I guess I don't know.
That's search
Me and-
brainstorm. We hate search brainstorms.
Me and Carmen have done so many set reviews, and there's so many brainstorms.
Yeah, there's
in
so
every
many
set that it's
brainstorms.
just
It's
like,
just like,
wow,
eh.
your set has a brainstorm. Big whoop.
I mean, yeah, brainstorms are great. Doesn't really matter which one you pick.
I get where you're coming from too, because like
You
when we
just
started
need to
doing
know
set
what kind of a
reviews-
brainstorm you have.
Hear
For
me
your,
out.
when
like,
we started
deck
doing set reviews, Carmen, there was like,
like if you're playing the
having a
if you're
brainstorm was a
playing the tough
privilege.
brainstorm, you're more likely to play the TD Aang drop search, whereas if you play this, you're more likely to play the Iro drop salvage.
Okay, but
That's the only difference it makes. They're still
Brain-
just brainstorms.
brainstorms are the worst cards in your deck.
Are they?
Yeah, they mill climaxes out. You could use those to cancel.
Hmm. True.
real talk though, you probably only play this specific brainstorm in like the Azula deck.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd probably rather run Toph or someone else.
Yeah, you'd rather run Toph in every deck other than the ones playing Azula. Which there's a decent amount of decks that want to play Azula that aren't specifically 8 standby, so I'm not saying they're good decks, I'm just saying they exist.
Let's move on.
All right.
Is this me?
Yep.
Yeah, that's you.
Level 0, Ember Island players. Card is in the stage. This card's name will also be regarded as Zuko. During your turn, if you have another Ember Island players casting horrors in your center stage, this has 3k power and the following ability. When it attacks, look at 2 cards on top of your deck. Keep one on top, put the rest in the waiting room, and then all your other Ember Island players casting horrors get 1k power.
Casting horrors is the Aang, right?
Casting
Yellow
horses is the
one.
Aang, yeah.
So this is a 4k choose your trigger if you have the Aang on board.
Ah.
I'd rather have the 4/5/2 soul.
Yep.
Probably, yeah.
Not good. It's not like the worst. This is like fine. Not.
I think it's pretty bad.
It's not very good.
Yeah, I think that was a casting horror. This guy looks nothing like Zuko.
Well, he's got this car on the wrong side.
He never even had that ponytail.
Oh wait, does he actually? Is that a
Yeah,
thing?
that's the name of the card.
Zuko has it on the wrong side.
Oh wait, yeah, the next card. I didn't even realize that. That's so clever. Like the scar is on the wrong side with the frauds.
I remember this scene too. Hello, Zuko here.
Okay, I am so incredibly glad they kept the flavor text for this one.
Hello, Zuko
Hello,
here.
Zuko here.
Okay, I guess that's an actual line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's practicing apologizing to the good guys.
No, this is whenever he actually goes through with it.
Oh.
But there is a scene of him mulling over, just saying that.
All right.
This is a weird one. If you don't have another character, this gets a level on a 1500, so he's 45 level 1 when he's alone, but then he has a drawback too.
Yeah, because
because he's 3K.
Beneficial
the Yumiko, wait, the Yumiko and Grisaya didn't have a drawback.
No, the Yumiko went to bottom of deck when it was reversed. Yeah, Bochis always have a 4500. They're 4500 level.
Are we calling them Bochis now?
Yeah, they're Bochis. Japan calls it Bochi.
Really? That's
yeah.
That's funny. I've always just called them unions.
Yeah, they're alone.
Anyway, I don't think it's too much of a drawback. You're probably playing this like you're not running like 4 of this. You're just playing this like
every
no.
Like this, it sucks.
No, when you play a profile like this, you play 4. Okay, Tyler, Kaijin's cracked. No one can out that card.
Okay, but Kaijin also just randomly doesn't become an attacker if you play it later, though.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem.
What is this card we are referring to?
This has a much worse drawback. 4,500 level 1s, if they're alone, are fine. I don't think I'd play 4 of it. If you are a deck where all you want on the following turn, if you go first, is a card. If you want a 1-card flex, these cards are good. Like, for example, Slime. It just wants a 1-card flex to ditch for Chloe on the following turn. That's why playing this card in Slime is really good. Is Avatar a set that wants this? Probably fucking not. But it does exist. It also has a much worse drawback. So it gets like a C-. The Kaijin is like can't side attack.
Dude, there's a Gil in Fate, and it's like a 5k level 1 whenever it's alone, and even that didn't impress me. I really don't like these.
I don't know. This profile does exist where it can have another character on board, like one other character. Where like the one from Sao, the Mito, it's a 4,500 level 1 if you have 1 or less other characters. Those are a lot better. This is just antiquated.
I also just don't like the
one or
Han
less
Solo condition.
Yeah, that is the Han Solo. It's worse than the Han Solo condition, isn't it?
Mito sounds so much better.
Isn't it exactly the same as what Han Solo has?
Was it 5 climaxes?
I think so.
I thought it was like 3 or something.
Oh. It's better than Han Solo then. Either way, just being completely unusable in some scenarios. Especially like so whenever you want to jump with this, it's usually whenever your opponent is just like kind of dirtling as well. So like they're more likely to have more climaxes in their deck or in their waiting room. So it's more likely that this is just a literally dead card.
All right. Next.
Zuko here.
Aang, Wavering Confidence. When this card is placed on the stage from your hand, this card gets X power. X is equal to the number of World of Avatar characters you have times 500, including itself. Drop it on a full board, 7k. When this card's battle, opponent becomes reversed. If you have another World of Avatar character, you may draw one. If you do, choose one card in your hand, discard it. That sucks.
It exists. It's a card.
D-.
You can legally play this.
I thought you guys would love this for the hand filter. You said
No.
you were so hard up for it, but I
The
fucking
filter-
hate this
There's
too.
better
Filter.
hand filters
Okay,
on
filter,
demand.
Andy, in general, filter from the top of your deck, fucking worthless unless it's stapled to another filter. Like console's fine because it can't draw a climax. It can only filter. But like, at least this is draw ditch. You draw first and then ditch.
Yeah, I just hate it.
Yeah, I don't like
It's
it.
hard.
I don't like
It's
it either.
illegal. It's a card you are legally allowed to put into your deck.
Oh, can I
That's-
do this last one? I want to
Yeah,
do this
you
last
got
one.
it. You can do it. Go
Go
ahead.
All right. T Wisdom, aka Nice Oodles
Oh no.
of Live Sunshine. Need Iro to play it, whatever. The 3/2, right? You can play it on your turn or your opponent's at the counter step, so there's some flexibility there. Mill 5 cards and deal X damage to your opponent equal to the number of trigger icons. So you can either use it like on turn to like extend your finisher combo. I guess you could think of it, right? If you just have extra stock in hand to kill, you just drop this bad boy from your hand, deal some extra burn damage before you go to the attack step. Or you can use it as a counter, I guess, to just like
To
get them
your
when they go to the
opponent.
attack step. And it's like they go to attack you, and it's like, all right, burn for 4. And maybe you die.
I think
here.
you just always kill your opponent with this. You go in the 8 standby deck with Zuko top end. Zuko doesn't take stock, so you always have the stock for this. The Iro Brainstorm digs for this. So they
Because he's a
attack
top
into you,
check
use
3.
this, and you just you deal the last bit of damage to them with this on the counter step.
Well, with the Iro though, like the Iro is a top check 3 brainstorm, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you just play these main phase? Or are you just saying like because you need the extra stock, you like swing like add it to hand, add T Wisdom to hand, attack to build up stock.
No,
and
so
then-
like say you have 6 stock. You go 6 stock, do your 3 Zuko's, and then you have 3 stock at the end of the turn at least.
Okay, I see what you mean. So
Beca-
if you have
because
enough
the Zuko doesn't
beforehand, you
cost
go for
anything
it.
to
but-
restand.
Damn, and then you can resolve
Yeah.
2 of these.
If you restand even once, you can resolve 2 of these.
Ooh, that is kind of nice, actually. Yeah.
You could even resolve 3 of these.
And again, there's so many payoffs for running soul triggers in your 8 standby deck in this set that this thing is usually going to be burning a pretty good number.
It's nice oodles. I don't care about nice.
Well, I don't know. The way
think-
Tyler
I think
described
this
it makes
is-
it sound a lot better. Like
I
the
th-
fact that
I-
if you get 1 restand, you just get double.
I think this is just the finishing blow in the context of the 8 standby deck. Because if somehow they didn't die from triple Zuko and maybe some Sokkas, this is almost certainly killing them on their first attack. Unless they've somehow found a way to just like side you.
I gotcha. As someone who's actually played with Nice Oodles, Carmen, Nice Oodles actually burns for 5, so they're gonna cancel it. But like,
Oh
with
no,
this, like,
you don't have to
you're only
remind me
burning
about
for, like,
nice
2 or
oodles.
3.
Let me tell you, the
Don't
fucking
worry, I have also lost to that card.
the WGP invitee from China who slammed that shit down against me when I had him dead to rights and killed me. Let me tell you, I'll never forget nice oodles.
So why is it a C? It worked.
Please, no. We'll see everybody in blue.